You know, after 43 years on this bench, I've seen friendship tested in every ugly way possible, and the borrowing that never gets repaid, the secrets shared in confidence that get weaponized, the betrayals that cut deeper than any stranger's knife because they come from someone who was supposed to have your back. But on that gray February afternoon in Minneapolis, a 38-year-old woman sat before me accused by her lifelong best friend of forging her signature on a $150,000 business loan, then defaulting and letting collection agencies hound the innocent woman whose name was on the dotted line. What started as a straightforward fraud and identity theft civil suit turned into one of the most devastating cross-examinations I've ever conducted. When the defendant's lies collapsed under their own weight, she broke down completely in the witness box, sobbing uncontrollably, while her former best friend sat silently, tears streaming, watching the person she once trusted most destroy herself in real time. This wasn't just about money. This was about a 20-year friendship, sleepovers in high school, standing as maid of honor at weddings, helping each other through miscarriages and job losses, reduced to forgery lies in a courtroom where one woman had to prove the other had stolen her identity to chase a failed restaurant dream. When the truth finally landed, it didn't just order repayment. It ordered a reckoning that left the courtroom in stunned, tear-soaked silence. Before I take you through every brutal, heartbreaking exchange of that day, hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, click it, because stories like this show how far betrayal can go when friendship becomes convenient collateral. Drop a comment telling me, could you ever forgive a best friend who forged your signature on a $150K loan? You're going to feel this one in your bones. I've been a district court judge in Hennepin County, Minnesota since 1982. That's 43 years of listening to people swear under oath that black is white, that trust was never broken, that they don't remember signing someone else's name 47 times across loan documents. Every morning I arrive at 7:10, brew my tea, peppermint, no honey, the way my mother drank it to calm her nerves after long shifts at the hospital, and sit quietly to steel myself for the human wreckage that walks through those doors. My clerk, Sarah, who's been my rock for 24 years, can tell from the way I set my cup down whether a case is going to leave permanent marks. That February morning, she slid the file across and whispered, "Judge, best friends. One forged the other's signature on a $150K SBA loan. Victim is pro SE. Defendant has counsel. And the victim, she looks like she hasn't slept since the fraud alert hit her phone." The file was devastating. Plaintiff, Jennifer Jen Callahan, 39, elementary school teacher, single mother of two. Defendant, Rachel Nguyen, 38, former restaurant manager, now unemployed. Claim, civil fraud, identity theft, conversion, breach of fiduciary duty as power of attorney holder years earlier, unjust enrichment, and punitive damages. Jen alleged Rachel used her personal information, SSN, driver's license scan, bank statements, to forge signatures on a $150,000 SBA Express loan for a food truck to restaurant venture that failed in 9 months. Loan defaulted. Collection calls started coming to Jen at 3 a.m. Rachel claimed, "Jen co-signed willingly. She wanted to help me. She just forgot." The courtroom was intimate but packed. Jen's sister, her 2 kids, teenagers who sat stone-faced, Rachel's mother, a few mutual friends who'd once celebrated birthdays together but now sat on opposite sides. At 1:45 p.m., Sarah called it Callahan v. Nguyen, case 25 CV 1289, civil fraud and related claims. Jen walked in wearing a modest cardigan and slacks, hair pulled back, clutching a thick binder of bank records, credit reports, loan docs, everything she'd gathered after the fraud alert. Rachel entered behind her, designer coat, manicured nails, eyes darting, flanked by her attorney who looked like he already knew this was uphill. I began with calm authority. "Ms. Callahan, you're seeking $150,000 principal plus interest, punitive damages, attorney fees, and injunctive relief. Summarize your claim." Jen's voice was quiet but steady. "Your Honor, Rachel was my best friend since 7th grade. When her restaurant idea failed in 2023, she asked to borrow $20,000. I said no. I'm a teacher. I don't have that. 2 months later, my credit score dropped 220 points. I got a fraud alert. Someone opened a $150,000 SBA loan in my name. The signature on every document is mine, but I never signed them. I never saw them. The IP address on the application traces to Rachel's apartment. The bank statements she uploaded are mine. She had access from when she helped me with taxes in 2021. Rachel's attorney objected. "Hearsay, Your Honor, no forensic document examiner." I overruled. "The SBA loan file is in evidence, subpoenaed. We'll get to authentication." Jen continued. When I confronted her, she cried, said it was a mistake, promised to repay. She made 3 payments, $200 total, then stopped. Now collectors call my kid's school. My mortgage is at risk. I can't sleep. She was my maid of honor. She held my son when he was born, and she did this. Rachel stared at the table. Her attorney stood. Your Honor, my client admits using Ms. Callahan's information, but claims it was with permission. Ms. Callahan verbally agreed to co-sign as a silent partner. There was no intent to defraud, just poor communication. I turned to Rachel. Miss Nguyen, you're under oath. Did Jennifer Callahan give you express permission to apply for a $150,000 loan in her name alone? Rachel nodded quickly. Yes, she said, do what you need to get the restaurant going. I trust you. Jen gasped softly. I held up a hand. We'll test that. Let's start with the loan application, dated March 14, 2023. Uploaded documents include a driver's license photo, SSN card image, last 3 bank statements. Who took those photos and uploaded them? Rachel hesitated. Jen sent them to me. For the application. Jen shook her head. I sent my license photo once for a joint checking account we opened in 2019 that we closed in 2020. I never sent bank statements, and I never gave permission for a loan. I displayed the SBA portal metadata, time-stamped uploads from an IP address geolocated to Rachel's apartment building. Miss Nguyen, this IP is yours. Do you live alone? Rachel nodded. Yes, I continued. The signature on page 17, the personal guarantee, was electronically signed with a stylus. The metadata shows it was drawn on an iPad Pro at 11:47 p.m. on March 13th. Whose iPad? Rachel's voice faltered. Mine, but Jen was over that night. We were drinking wine, talking business. She signed it then. Jen's voice rose, first time. I was never at your apartment that week. I was at my son's science fair in St. Paul. I have photos, timestamps, parent emails. I can prove it. I admitted Jen's alibi evidence, a geo-tagged photos from the school event, parent group chat logs. Rachel's face paled. I pressed harder. Now the text messages. You texted Jen on March 15th. Thanks for believing in me. Loan approved. You're the best partner ever. Jen replied, what loan? Rachel, what are you talking about? You never answered. Instead, you blocked her for 3 weeks. Why? Rachel started crying. I panicked. The restaurant was failing. I thought if I could just get it open, I'd pay her back before she noticed. The courtroom inhaled sharply. Jen's daughter whispered, Mom, and reached for her hand. I leaned forward. So you forged her signature, used her private documents, took $150,000 in her name, defaulted, and let collectors terrorize her family because you panicked? Rachel sobbed openly. I'm sorry. I was drowning. The food truck failed. I had debt. I thought she'd forgive me once it worked. Jen spoke through tears. You didn't ask. You stole my future. My kid's college fund is on hold because my credit is ruined. You were my sister, and you used me like a credit card. Rachel slid down in her chair, head in hands, crying uncontrollably. Jen, please, I love you. I'll pay it back, I swear. I let the silence hang, heavy, suffocating. Then I ruled. The court finds by clear and convincing evidence that defendant committed fraud, identity theft, and conversion. Judgment for plaintiff in the amount of $150,000 principal plus accrued interest at the loan rate, 9.75%, plus statutory punitive damages of $300,000 for willful and malicious conduct, plus attorney fees and costs of $18,700. Total judgment, $478,942. Defendant is ordered to make immediate payment of $50,000 within 30 days from any available assets or face wage garnishment and asset seizure. The court recommends criminal referral to the Hennepin County Attorney for identity theft in the first degree and financial transaction card fraud, felonies carrying up to 20 years. This is not a loan between friends. This is theft between people who once called each other family. I banged the gavel twice. Judgment entered, case closed. Rachel collapsed into sobs. Her mother rushed forward. Jen sat frozen, tears falling, until her daughter hugged her. The gallery was crying, quiet, collective grief for a friendship that died in that room. 4 months later, Jen wrote me, Judge, she filed bankruptcy. I'll never see most of it, but the criminal charges stuck. She's pleading. My credit is rebuilding. My kids know what betrayal looks like and what standing up looks like. Thank you for believing me when I felt invisible. Rachel's mother sent a card. My daughter destroyed the best thing in her life. She cries every night. She knows she deserves what came. Stories like this scar you. A best friend can forge your name, steal your future, and still beg for forgiveness when the mask is ripped off. But justice, when it sees the truth, doesn't flinch. If this broke your heart, if you believe some betrayals are unforgivable, hit that like button, subscribe for more courtroom moments where lies get destroyed, and share this with anyone who's ever trusted too much. Comment below, could you ever speak to a friend again after they forged your signature on 150K? Thank you for listening. God bless. Friendship isn't a license to steal, and when it becomes one, justice answers. Brutally, honestly, finally. Check the next video. Another friendship fraud story with an even darker twist is coming. Take care of the people who truly have your back. They're rare, and when they betray you, remember, you're not alone in the courtroom of truth.